Hello everyone, so today I'm going to discuss the Principles and Philosophy of Philippine Education, Article 2, Section 17 of 1987 Philippine Constitution, and the Personal Philosophy of Teaching. So our objectives are discuss the principles of Philippine education as mandated by the 1987 Constitution, write a personal philosophy of teaching using the given guidelines, and appreciate the significance of developing one's teaching philosophy as a guide in professional practice. So let us proceed to our abstraction, which is the Article 2, or the Declaration of the Principles and State Policies. Section 17. The state shall give priority to education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports to foster patriotism and nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development. Section 17 of Article 2 highlights the state's commitment to prioritize education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports. This provision underscores that education is not only about academics, but also about nurturing patriotism, nationalism, and holistic development. By giving importance to these areas, the state aims to accelerate social progress and promote the total human development of its citizens. Now let us proceed to Article 14, Section 1 to 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports education. For the Section 1, the state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Section 1 of Article 14 emphasizes na lahat ng mamamayan ay may karapatan sa quality education at all levels. Ibig sabihin, obligasyon ng state na siguraduhin na ang edukasyon ay accessible sa lahat, rich man o poor, privileged or underprivileged. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa pagbubukas ng schools, kundi pati sa paggawa ng mga hakbang para masiguradong ang bawat Pilipino ay may equal opportunity to learn and succeed. Now for the Section 2, the state shall 1. Establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and society. 2. Establish and maintain a system of free public education in the elementary and high school levels without limiting the natural right of parents to rear their children. Elementary education is compulsory for all children of school age. Section 2 of Article 14 pinapakita kung paano isa sa katuparan ng state ang right to education ng lahat ng mamamayan. First, establish, maintain, support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education. Ibig sabihin, ang edukasyon ay dapat aligned at responsive sa needs ng tao at lipunan. Hindi lang siya basta-basta sistema, kundi dapat holistic at integrated mula basic hanggang higher education. Okay? And of course, establish and maintain free public education in elementary and high school. So nakasaad din na compulsory ang elementary education. Ibig sabihin, bawat bata of school age are required makapag-aral. Sa ganitong paraan, nasisiguro na walang maiiwan sa basic education level. 3. Establish and maintain a system of scholarship grants, students' loan programs, subsidies, and other incentives which shall be available to deserving students in both public and private schools, especially to the underprivileged. Number 4, encourage non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning systems, as well as self-learning, independent, and out-of-school study programs, particularly those that respond to community needs. Scholarship grants, student loan programs, and subsidies. Itong provision ay nagpapakita na tungkulin ng state na tulungan ang mga deserving at underprivileged students para makapagpatuloy ng kanilang pag-aaral. Hindi lahat ay may kakayahang pinansyal, kaya May scholarships, students loans, at subsidies para mabigyan sila ng equal opportunity. Para naman sa number 4, non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning systems. Dito naman, binibigyang diin na ang edukasyon ay hindi lang confined sa classroom. May value rin ang non-formal or structured pero hindi traditional, informal or daily life learning, at indigenous learning or community and cultural practices. Mahalaga ito lalo na sa mga komunidad na may unique na mga pangangailangan. For number 5, provide adult citizens, the disabled, and out-of-school youth with training in civics, vocational efficiency, and other skills. Itong provision na ito ay nagpapakita na hindi lang limitado sa mga bata ang karapatan sa edukasyon. Kasama rin ng adults o mga matatanda, persons with disabilities o PWDs at out-of-school youth. Ang layunin nito ay bigyan sila ng training sa civics, vocational, efficiency, at iba pang skills para maging productive citizens at makapag-ambag sa lipunan. And now, let us proceed to personal philosophy of teaching. Ang pagkakaroon ng personal teaching philosophy ay mahalaga dahil ito ang nagsisilbing gabay ng isang guro sa kanyang practice sa classroom. Para itong kompas na nagbibigay direksyon sa paraan ng pagtuturo at kung paano tinitingnan ang learning process pati na rin ang relasyon sa mga estudyante. Isa rin itong self-reflective statement ng sariling paniniwala tungkol sa teaching and learning. Sa pamamagitan nito, mas nagiging malinaw sa isang guro kung ano ang kanyang layunin, values at approach sa pagtuturo. Halimbawa, kung naniniwala ang guro na lahat ng bata ay may kakayahang matuto, gagamit siya ng strategies na inclusive at supportive. Sa madaling sabi, ang personal philosophy of teaching ay nagbibigay ng identity at purpose sa isang guro at nagsisilbing foundation ng kanyang professional growth. And now, let us proceed to how to write a personal philosophy of teaching. First, make your teaching statement brief and well-written. Dapat malinaw at diretso ang pagkakasulat ng iyong philosophy. Hindi kailangan mahaba. Mas mahalaga na concise at madaling maintindihan. Pangalawa, use a narrative. First-person approach. Gumamit ng I believe o for me teaching is, yung mga ganun. For me, teaching is, ganun ba? Para maging personal at reflective ang dating. Mas nararamdaman ang authenticity kapag sariling boses ng guro ang ginagamit. And number 3, make it specific rather than abstract. Iwasan ang sobrang general na statements. Mas maganda kung may konkretong halimbawa o sitwasyon para makita kung paano mo talaga isasabuhay ang iyong philosophy sa classroom, no? Ganun yun. Be disciplined, specific. Explain how you advance your field through teaching. I-connect ang iyong philosophy sa mismong subject o field na itinuturo mo. Halimbawa, kung science teacher ka, ipakita kung paano mo ginagamit ang inquiry-based learning para mas lalo pang mapaunlad ang kaalaman ng mga estudyante sa agham. Avoid jargon and technical terms. Be sincere and unique. Avoid glitches. Huwag gumamit ng sobrang lalim o technical na salita na mahirap maintindihan. Dapat simple at tapat ang pagkakasulat. Iwasan din ang mga gas-gas na linya tulad ng teaching is my passion at ipakita na unique at authentic ang iyong pananaw bilang guro. Be humble. Mention students in an enthusiastic, not condescending way and illustrate your willingness to learn from your students and colleagues. Ipakita sa iyong philosophy na bukas kang matuto mula sa mga estudyante at kapwa-guro. Huwag mag-sound na ikaw lang ang may alam. Mas maganda kung enthusiastic ka sa pagbabanggit ng mga rule ng students bilang katuwang sa learning process. And lastly is to revise. Teaching is an evolving reflective process, and teaching statements can be adopted and changed as necessary. Tandaan na ang pagtuturo ay dynamic at patuloy na nagbabago. Kaya dapat handa kang i-update o baguhin ang iyong teaching philosophy habang lumalawak ang iyong karanasan at kaalaman bilang guro. In summary, the principles and philosophies of Philippine education as mandated by the 1987 Constitution highlight the state's responsibility to make education accessible, relevant, and holistic for all. At the same time, developing a personal philosophy of teaching is essential for every developing or future educator, since it guides classroom practices and shapes one's professional identity. By connecting national educational principles with personal beliefs, teachers can become more reflective, purposeful, and effective in nurturing learners and contributing to the progress of society. And that concludes my discussion. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, everyone.